County Board of Commissioners, would all those who are willing and able please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Grant us, O Lord, light to our understanding, prudence in our investigating, foresight in our planning, sincerity in our deliberating, the grace to follow truth in our judgment. Help us to be moved in our decision neither by fear nor by self-interest, and to do our work faithfully. May we respect the authority vested in us, for thou art the source of all authority. And may we use our directives for the common good, and for thy honor and glory. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you all. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Present.
Commissioner Regovich.
Here.
Commissioner Hamerchuk.
Here. All right, this brings us to our first public comment portion of our meeting. And I believe we have our County Treasurer, Mike Zern, with a bit of good news to report here. What you got there, sir?
Thank you, Commissioners. I do have some good news. I just wanted to report it to the Lake County residents. The first half tax collection at the Treasurer's office, we exceeded last year's number. We've had the largest property tax collection that we could go back and record. So we collected $7 million more than last year for the first half collection. And there's no valuation change from last year, but there has been a couple levies and there has been a little bit of new construction. But I would attribute some of the additional collection to a lot of efforts that the Treasurer's Office staff has made to reach out to residents. Some of the things, I'd like to just go over some of the things that the Treasurer's Office has done. We have had enhancements on the website to make payments easier to pay. We have added a QR code. We have added texting and emailing where individuals can receive their tax bills directly. We've also partnered with the Auditor's Office, and we've done quite a few presentations to seniors and at libraries talking about different ways that individuals can pay taxes, and it's made a huge difference. We also saw about a 20% increase in online payments, and also individuals who have set up a monthly payment arrangement, which has made a big difference. Also, I wanted to mention that the delinquencies in Lake County, property tax delinquencies, went down about $1.5 million as compared to last year. And we attribute a lot of this to the public outreach and really promoting Save the Dream and working with homeowners in a friendly manner that we would like to work with them to put them on payment arrangements to save their home. So I just wanted to share that with the commissioners and also with the Lake County residents. And I also want to point out a few of the staff members that really worked very hard. Deputy Treasurer Karen Potter and Deputy Treasurer Sherry Falkenberg. They have really put a lot of effort into constantly researching and developing, implementing easier, more cost-effective ways for residents to receive their tax bill and receive the communication and pay their tax bills. Thank you.
Thank you. And if I may, I was a bit remiss. No, thank you. I apologize. We did lose the Honorable Judge Lawson. If we could take a moment and have silence, please, in honor of Judge Lawson, it would be truly appreciated. Thank you. Gentlemen, is there anything you wanted to add for the memory of our departed colleague?
Mr. President,
Sir.
Judge Lawson was the first woman to ever hold the position of juvenile court judge in Lake County, Ohio. She was a graduate of Cleveland State's law school, and she was a very important part of the lives of so many children and families that came through her court as she mentored and guided and cared for them. There has been an unprecedented outpouring of grief and prayer and support for her loss. which is a huge loss to the court system in Lake County, but really is a loss to each and every one of us. We are grateful for the work that she has done, and the most comforting thing I can say is that her work will never end. Because of the good she's done, it will continue in Lake County families and communities long after she's left this physical plane. So we express our greatest sympathy to the judges who've lost one of their most beloved colleagues. We express our greatest sympathy to the many families that she was practically a family member to. And we wish her a well-deserved rest in peace as we commend her to God. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Regovich?
I would like to say that with Judge Lawson, I don't know if I'd be here today without her. My first taste of politics came with Judge Lawson. I was taking John Platz's government class at Lakeland, and I had a choice between a 10-page paper or work on a campaign. I chose to work on a campaign because I thought it'd be a little easier. I learned otherwise. But I worked on Karen Lawson's campaign for city. She ran for council in Painesville. That's where I met Steve LaTourette and many other people who had been in this Painesville forever and did great work here, and worked hard on her campaign and learned a lot, and learned who she was at the time. This is in the early 1990s. So that was my first taste of politics. I'll forever remember that and forever cherish that.
Very good. I would care to add that the Honorable Judge Karen Lawson was the true definition of a public servant in all of the stages of her life as she progressed in her personal and professional career. I dare say that we can all hope to profess to hear these words, "Well done, good and faithful servant." I believe she has received that message. And with that, moving on, do we have anyone in this first public comment portion who wishes to address this board at this time?
Mr. President,
Sir.
Before we move forward with respect to the Treasurer's presentation, I just want to say we offer our highest thanks to Treasurer Mike Zurin and his hardworking staff for improving collections in Lake County, making them more humane and more convenient to the taxpayer. In particular, when you see a year-on-the-year $1.5 million reduction in delinquencies, we see the hard work and effort of promoting the Save the Dream program, helping people to save their homes and their houses. We see the impact of directing taxpayers to resources and payment plans so that they're able to afford to stay in their own homes, which has been a great challenge in this economy. So I think the Treasurer's Office is to be commended for helping Lake County residents to stay in their homes and to do their job in such an exemplary fashion. To each and every one of your staff members, Mike, we say thank you.
Mr. President,
Sir.
I would also like to, I encouraged my own mother to come down and pay her taxes, and she was like, well, you can just drop it off. And I said, well, come on down and see how it works. And when she was done, she was like, that was easy. So I applaud your effort for outreach and taking this scare out of the unknown. A lot of people may have not done it before because, oh my God, I don't know how to do it. Am I doing it right? All those kind of questions in their head. So you're to be commended, and outstanding effort by your staff too. It was seamless, worked great, and good job.
Thank you.
Very good. All right. If there's no one wishing to address the board during this first public comment portion, moving on with the agenda. Madam Clerk, first item, please.
In special resolutions, a resolution recognizing March 2023 as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. The floor is yours, ma'am. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Commissioners, for joining us again in celebrating March being Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. This year's theme is Uniquely Me in 2023. Catchy, huh?
Indeed.
That rhyme. But it helps us to celebrate the very unique qualities, personalities, and the vast scope of individuals, thousands of individuals that are served by the Lake County Board of Developmental Disabilities. Each of these individuals has such unique talents, skills, abilities, and engaging personalities. And there's no better way to demonstrate that than to bring one of those individuals here today. And I'm so proud and honored to have Larry Petrie here with me today. Larry has been served by the Lake County Board of DD since 1992. You're going to quickly see that he has a lot of talents, one of them being a great sense of humor and getting people to smile, and also that his talents are very obvious when he's using his eye gaze board here to present a speech that he has written for this month. So, and Larry, of course, is always with an entourage. So people who just love him and are engaged by him. So we have with him today his Services Support Administrator, Heather Ryan, his mother, Ellen, and his Direct Service Professional, Diana Nichols. Hollander. All right. Everybody's name changes. Okay. So Larry, I'm turning it over to you. And again, a speech that he himself has prepared.
TikTok's good morning. My name is Larry and I am unable to speak like you. I thank you all for making a difference in my life and the lives of so many with disabilities. I was a recipient of an iPad from the Willoughby Rotary a few years ago. This was my way of communicating with my staff, family, and friends. I am unable to talk and the iPad opened up a new world for me. I was able to use the iPad and my cell phone to access Facebook, the internet, and most importantly, I was able to have a voice. I used my iPad every day and it has helped me to learn new and different ways to use my new eye gaze. I am able to express my thoughts and communication skills through an iPad. I do not take communication for granted. I am a member of many committees at both Deepwood and in the community. I, like the Lake County Commissioners, advocate and support many community events concerning those with disabilities and everyday citizens. I recently worked with Sub-Zero Mission, Little Annie's Hope Train and Birthright in both Lake and Geauga counties. I also work with my best friend on a Facebook Live event once a week spreading awareness of living with a disability and how it works and how it feels. We have been doing this Facebook Live for over a year and I am hoping that more people are aware of those with disabilities. My goals for 2023 are to be as independent as I can, to help others with disabilities, to stay positive, to use Lake Tran more, and to spread kindness in everything I do. I am very proud of the communities I live, work and play in and how many different opportunities there are here for those with disabilities. I am proud to be living in Lake County. I am proud to live at Ashley Lies Moon Shadow and I am proud of who I have become with the support of many people in this county. Thank you and have a great rest morning. Larry.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, that's certainly a tough act to follow. And all I can say is, as Larry said, thank you. This community of Lake County is incredibly supportive of diversity and the talents of each one of our citizens. Thank you so much.
Bless you, bless you. We have our telecommunications director in the audience, Paul Stefanko. Actually reminiscing, you're thinking, Paul, it's been 36 years. Ever since I've known you, you've been involved in this and raising awareness. You were the inspiration for me and my family getting involved with the Ohio Special Olympics and raising awareness. I'd love to hear some comments.
Well, since before I worked here, and that was quite a while ago, I worked at a camp, and I still work at a camp every year for special needs. And I had Larry, for more than 20 years ago, I think. But what Larry just said, I think, was absolutely correct. When Larry started going to this Camp Sue Osborne, they didn't have iPads, they didn't have any communication devices. It was very difficult for him to convey what he needed and what he wanted and what he liked and what he didn't like. And when they came out with devices like this, it allowed him to start to express himself and not be trapped in his wheelchair and confined. So through Deepwood, who does a fantastic job, remarkable job, and organizations that Larry's involved in, they allow Larry and people like Larry with disabilities to express themselves and do everything that we take for granted every year or every day, every minute, that Larry can't do. So I would just like to, I saw Larry on a camera getting out of his, and I said, I know him. So I came running over here. But anyway, no, it's terrific to see you, Larry. Really is, really good. But communication devices, electronics, and technology is really making a huge difference in special needs people, because they're the people that can't talk or they can't move the way that we do. They can't communicate, and this definitely makes a huge difference. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Commissioner Plechnik, I believe you have the document there.
Mr. President.
Answer.
First, let me just say thank you so much for joining us today, Larry. We are grateful that you're with us. Along with Alfie Roman of Deepwood, your friends and your family, you're an inspiration to your colleagues, your friends, your neighbors in Lake County, because each and every one of us has limits, but rather than focusing on those, you choose to do the good and the positive and to bring other people up. And that is the calling that each and every one of us has. Your love for Lake County and your pride for our community reflects our love for each other and the commitment that we've made through Deepwood to make sure that each and every one of us has an opportunity to not just live our lives well, but to participate in the community as full citizens, where you can not just live your own life, but do good for others. And to see that commitment here today is truly inspiring. That's why the Board of Lake County Commissioners is so proud to have adopted unanimously a resolution recognizing March 2023 as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. Whereas the Board of Commissioners hereby finds and determines that all formal actions relative to the adoption of this resolution were taken. Whereas the Board of Developmental Disabilities Deepwood was established by the Ohio General Assembly on October 25, 1967, 2 years after Lake County had established the Broadmoor School and Sheltered Industries in September 1965. And whereas the mission and purpose of Ohio's county boards of developmental disabilities remain strong as ever, with county boards continuing to provide vital support and resources to Ohioans with developmental disabilities and their families. Whereas the thousands of people with developmental disabilities have been supported over the years by Lake County, Ohio. Their families, friends, neighbors, and coworkers encourage everyone to focus on the abilities of all people, whereas Lake County encourages everyone to focus on the abilities of all people through active participation in community activities, just like Larry. Whereas to further the mission to empower, enrich, and engage, the theme for 2023 is Uniquely Me in 2023. Now, therefore, the Board of County Commissioners in and for Lake County, Ohio, hereby proclaims March 2023 as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, and we encourage all citizens to join in this celebration by spreading awareness of the many contributions offered by people with developmental disabilities in our community. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Alfie. And God bless
Thank you.
everyone in Lake County.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
All right. Any further discussion?
Make it official.
Well, make it official. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. All right. You mind joining us?
That's a beautiful picture. Instead of the podium for a change. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Okay, Madam Clerk, next item, please.
In the engineer's office, resolution authorizing the Lake County engineer to participate in the ODOT Cooperative Purchasing Program.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Anything you want to add? They're pretty obligatory as usual, blah, blah, blah.
It's just the standard program with ODOT for their cooperative purchasing, and it's a great benefit to our office because the ODOT does a lot of the legwork for us by soliciting bids, but it also enables us to utilize the prices they receive, which are in a larger quantity. So it's helping us to save money within our office.
Excellent. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Utilities Department, resolution approving final estimate number 5, release of retainage, in the amount of $13,358.12 with Terrace Construction Company Incorporated for the 2022 large meter replacement project 455W for the Lake County Department of Utilities.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Randy, anything you want to add to that? Or?
A few years ago, we took over, made a policy decision to take over the large meters in the county. Previous to that, property owners owned the large meters, and it became sometimes troublesome to get somebody to replace a meter that was failing in order to bill them for their proper amount of water. So we made that decision, like most water companies do. utility departments do in the state, and took over the large meters. This was our first project in order to replace some meters that weren't functioning properly. So this is a successful program, and we continue in the future.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing advertising for requests for proposals for residential electronics collections. Open request for proposals on March 22nd, 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Randy, again, I know this one's been pretty popular.
Yeah, this is another policy change. This originally was, previous to last year, was an annual event at the fairgrounds where we would collect electronics for recycling. And what we did last year is we made it a daily occurrence where you could bring your electronics anytime that the landfill's open. You can drop off your electronics, and this request for proposals is for a contractor to handle those once they're dropped off at the landfill, and we are making that available every day throughout the entire year. Last year it was only from, I believe, after Memorial Day through Labor Day, and now we're going to make it pretty much every day of the year that the landfill's open. You can drop off electronics and it'll be collected and recycled.
Gotcha. Great, thank you. If there's nothing further, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution to delete a sewer sum and administrative fee certified to the Lake County Auditor.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations and transferring cash within Lake County Department of Utilities Solid Waste Operating Fund and Project Fund 597.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
And Job and Family Services Department, resolution approving Lake County Department of Job and Family Services vouchers, date of warrant March 10th, 2023, in the amount of $176,976.46.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Commissioner's Office, resolution authorizing the county to participate in the Master Cooperative Purchasing Agreement with Cooperative Council of Governments and Equalis Group through the CCAO, and executing a contract with Garland DBS Incorporated for roof layover for the center section of the Lake County Juvenile Court Building in an amount not to exceed $459,639.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of agreements between the Lake County Board of Commissioners and various entities and organizations for the fiscal year 2022 and prior year community development block grant funds.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President,
Sir.
I would just like to thank Rhea Benton and her team downstairs for the hard work they do every year to ensure that we allocate the CDBG, the Community Development Block Grant money, as effectively as possible in our community. We always wish there was more, but we get a lot of mileage out of a little bit of dollars to push those mission-critical projects forward. And I'm reminded with your guidance and help how one of the first CDBG grants I participated in was ensuring a new refrigerator in Willow Praise Church to facilitate their free lunch program, which has since served tens of thousands of families, not just in Willowick, but in Lake, Cuyahoga, and Geauga counties, which Treasurer Zurin has been very involved in, as that is his place of worship. But that's just one of a myriad of examples of the difference we've been able to make in our community by working together and allocating those monies. So a big thank you to Rhea, Donna, the whole team for helping us every year on the year to get the most bang for the buck in our community.
And if I could just add, and I don't know if you want to add to this, but I know there's continuing confusion in the community when they see, hey, CDBG and HUD. The community thinks Washington, D.C. is distributing these dollars. This is as close to a local decision as possible. That's coming from this Board of Commissioners. These dollars are allocated to Lake County. I believe Mentor has its own community development block grant group because of their population. They were able to spin off from the county. Lake County has been able to do projects in Mentor if it has a countywide impact, but the public, and I hope the media pays attention to this, when you say CDBG, it's confusing people. They're thinking you gotta reach out to Washington, call your congressman, call your senator. No, call your commissioners. If you want to advocate for something, and I keep encouraging people, please come to these commissioner meetings. Come to the public meetings for our CDBG, our Community Development Block Grant. It's done locally. And even if you want to come just to witness those who intend to participate and see the interactions, one of the things, and I've helped participate in putting some of these grants together, both as a village councilman when I was with Madison, as a member of organizations, that process, you've got local people, our team here, Rhea and her folks, they will actually walk you through the process. And to encourage that participation, I believe the first meeting's mandatory. If you want to participate, you got to show up. Don't come into this blind. Coming in with hopes, dreams, and wishes. Many times you have very well-intentioned people who come in with projects that cannot be funded, but when you talk to the team, you find out, well, the things they didn't ask for could be funded. So with guidance, again, local guidance, you don't have to call somebody in Washington. You can actually talk to somebody right here in Lake County. Projects do get funded because things that people did not realize were eligible do get added in, and things that are ineligible that would disqualify them get taken out, so you have a greater response. Rhea, did you want to add anything to that? Or I see you nodding back there, but I know you know this in your sleep, so please.
I see Mayor Morley's here, and his city's on the list.
Thank you, Commissioners. Yeah, if I could add to the conversation, a few days ago, HUD announced the fiscal year 23 annual grants for affordable housing, community development, and homeless assistance. Nationally, that amount is $5.6 billion. That includes $3.3 billion of community development block grant funding to 1,200 states and localities to build stronger communities. It also includes $1.5 billion of home program funding to 664 participating jurisdictions to produce affordable housing. Lake County's amount of CDBG for fiscal year 23 will be $1.4 million and home program $522,000. Our county annual allocation process will begin in April with a public hearing, and I do encourage members of the public to come and potential applicants of the funding to learn about the wide variety and flexibility of these programs, the different types of activities that we may fund, so that public hearing will take place in April.
And one of the other things which of late has been a topic of discussion, especially under COVID, is timeliness. Did you want to talk about timeliness tests that we have to adhere to?
Sure. So these are dollars that are awarded annually. Our grant period is October to September. We have a 12-month grant period, so we do encourage applicants to submit applications for projects that may be completed within that time period. HUD does have what's called a timeliness test, so twice a year they will check and see how much money we have available, and they do want us to continue to move that money efficiently to serve the community.
And just to be clear, because sometimes we get some cranky folks out there, and I'm just going to try to keep it polite. You have rules that you have to follow. And I say you because you're kind of the guardian of the gate there. We look to you as our subject matter expert. I mean, that one's for you, John. John Music loves to hear that term and use it freely. You have rules. The government has rules. We, although on a local level, can help facilitate and move and grant these dollars. You've got to be the traffic cop out there to make sure everybody's adhering to those things. So those rules are not yours. You're just the one enforcing them. And for that we say thank you, because I've personally witnessed you do it in a very gentle and effective way. But sometimes folks just don't quite understand rules are rules. Gentlemen, I don't know if you want to add to that, but I give you high praise for what you're doing and your team in general. Gentlemen, anything?
Mr. President.
Sir.
So Rhea, as the mayor of Willowick, I know how beneficial these dollars were to at a local level. And we appreciate most local governments operate on a very thin budget. And when you can get something that was in need for a long time done through something like this, it means a lot to the people that live there and a lot to the county. So thank you for all that you do and keep it going, keep it right.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhea. Thank you. All right, teamwork, yay. All right, if there's nothing further, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes, there you go, Rhea,
Thank
it's
you.
official. Thank you.
Resolution appointing Michael Rice as a representative of the Board of Lake County Commissioners on the Lake County Visitors Bureau Board of Trustees for a 2-year term expiring February 21st, 2025.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Finance Department, resolution approving payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $814,637.03.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Approval Journal in the amount of $36,258.54.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations for various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution transferring cash within non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Okay, I believe this brings us to our departmental reports portion of our meeting, utilities. Thank you, sir. Job and Family Services.
Thank you, Commissioner. This morning, I wanted to take an opportunity to honor Judge Lawson, as some of you have today. She worked very closely with our department, specifically our Children's Services Division. Judge Lawson was the ultimate advocate for children. Protecting children and empowering them to be all that they could be is truly what made Judge Lawson honorable. She is going to be very, very, very missed, deeply missed, and I express my deepest sympathy to all of those affected by this tremendous loss. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, County Administrator.
Good morning, Commissioners. Just very briefly, wanted to report, I believe the county budget hearings have concluded this week. Speaking with Finance Budget Director Matus, obviously we have until the end of March to pass the budget statutorily. I think Mike's going to take the next couple weeks to compile all the information, requests, et cetera, present you a budget in the next couple weeks to comply with the end of March timeline. So just want to say thanks to Michael and his staff downstairs. Old building still haunts me. Not a lot of people know the amount of work that he and his team have to perform to put that budget together and present to the commissioners. So thanks to Mike and his folks on the fourth floor. And secondly, during a number of the budget hearings this year, we heard recognition of a couple departments that we don't talk about a lot. One, Buildings and Grounds Department, and Paul Stefanko's department, our Telecommunications Department. I think in at least 3 budget hearings, the elected officials provided positive commentary on the work that our folks that keep these buildings clean and operating and effective. So I wanted to, on behalf of the commissioners, echo those statements to Mark, Ifelise, Lou Hall, Paul Stefanko, et cetera, on all the work that our men and women do behind the scenes to keep our buildings functioning properly. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Madam Clerk.
The next commissioners' meeting is scheduled for Thursday, March 9th at 10 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Legal.
No reports, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. All right, moving on to old business. Do we have any old business? Do we have any old business? All right, hearing none, moving on to new business. Any new business?
Mr. President,
Sir.
I would share that we'll be celebrating the 20th annual Ice Wine Festival in both Lake and Ashtabula counties as part of the Grand River Valley wine region. For reasons I don't need to state, Ohio has a particularly good climate for ice wine, and we've come to be known for it, as well as the incredible quality of the grapes, the juice, and the wine that this region produces. So it's a very important economic driver in this region. It's also something that has a near and dear place in the hearts of our residents and tourists from across the country who will be visiting. So we certainly want to shine a positive light on this event and celebrate 20 years of unmatched excellence in viticulture and the art of making wine.
Thank you. Did you find Ron Young's playbook or something in your desk drawer? That was pretty good. Ron Young was a very big proponent of our wine industry, so little inside baseball there.
Between Commissioner Young and Tony DeBevick, one of the founding entrepreneurs of the Grand River Valley, we have enormous advocacy for that local driver, and I'm just excited to see what happens in the coming years, because it seems that Madison has a new winery open every other year.
There you go. We are forever growing. Under new business, our probate court, echoing and following our Common Pleas General Division Judge O'Donnell's presentation. He was not able to schedule within the time frame that we were doing these budget activities. Our probate court judge will be out of town for 30 days. He did in good faith make some adjustments to his budget that are reflective of what was mentioned regarding the courts in general. So again, that echoing, so we'll be seeing that. And regarding Judge Karen Lawson, her and her team before her passing, I must also say she made sure that their budgetary concerns were brought forward as well. So even in her final days, she was making sure that ends were being tied up and the future needs of the juvenile court would be addressed going forward. So again, high praise to a good and faithful public servant. So if there's no further new business, this will take us to our second public comment portion. Does anyone wish to address the board at this time in our second public comment portion? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting.
Second.
Thought we were going to have to sit here all day. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes, thank you for joining us. This meeting stands adjourned.